Alright guys, so I've been getting a lot of questions about the all-wheel drive car. Figured I'd finally do a video on it. I know I've been saying I was going to do a video on it. Work's been crazy, just been working a lot of hours, but figured I got a chance to do it real quick while I got some time. One thing is I got part of the roll cage put in, kind of the main little hoop down, the down bars and all that. Got that put in over the weekend. The clutch assembly, since the 4G63 setup is a hydraulic clutch assembly, I ordered this Willwood kit, and it's just a universal style. The reservoir goes onto the inside of the car since there really isn't any room for an external reservoir. So this is going to go like under the dash. And what's really cool about this kit in particular is this has a remote reservoir setup. So basically, right there it is. So this little part goes onto here. Then hose can get ran up to this here, and then one of these, whichever reservoir I want to go to, big one, small one, I can remotely do that somewhere else with the hose. Then this is the fuel cell I got. It's basically going to go right here. Gotta just build brackets and stuff to hold this in. Since the all-wheel drive system goes down the middle of the car, you have the drive shaft right there. There's the rear end. The stock Festiva gas tank, of course, won't work. So this fuel cell is going to go in the back right here, basically. And this is a 15-gallon fuel cell, actually. So get a little bit more mileage out of it. This car I am building basically to do the drag and drive events. So you do have to drag race it, drive it to the next location and all that. And I want to just have a little bit more capacity so I can get to and from without having to fill up so much. A lot of these events, sometimes you do have quite a long gap in between gas stations, especially like Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0. Those ones, the gas stations are pretty far in between sometimes. So with the 15-gallon one, it'll give me a little bit more capacity for those longer trips. So basically, also what I'll have to do is section this whole part off from the fuel cell to the main part of the car. Due to NHRA rules and all that, you have to have some type of a metal barrier between it. So it's going to get all sectioned off and closed out from the fuel cell. So that's what the plan is for this. I'm not sure exactly what fuel pump and setup I'm going to be using yet. I have a couple in mind. I think I might try to modify this to do an in-tank pump. They're usually a little quieter, but I haven't quite made my mind up there yet. Still got time, still got a lot of things to do on this car. As you see, it's still pretty well gutted out. I do plan on putting as much of the interior back in the car as possible, especially when I did the roll cage on it. I made sure that the headliner still fits in there, and it'll slide right up above it, which that's right there. I want to have the headliner redone, of course. My brother's wife, she does a lot of stuff like that. So, yep, that is the back of the car, and I will show you the rear end setup because I know a lot of people were asking about that too. So here's the whole rear end setup. It's out of a 1990 Eagle Talon TSI all-wheel drive. I was able to kind of modify the stock struts from the Eagle Talon to fit into basically the stock upper locations. So pretty much I just was able to take the top hat off of the spring and use the stock basically where it perches inside there And between the stock Festiva struts and the Talon struts, I was able to make some of that stuff work together. I did have to do a little bit of finagling, pretty much more like banging. I had a clearance where the strut would go up inside, just a little bit in the wheel well, just so they cleared properly. But yep, that's that. And then, of course, I made these brackets here. I want to do some gusseting, more gusseting there. Then I welded in this bar that goes, it's welded on the top here, crossed. And what's going to happen there is from the roll cage, I'll have a bar that comes straight down connecting to this side, and then the same thing to that side. And then I'll be also doing little kickers that come off down into the front brackets. That way everything's kind of tied into the roll cage and the car, makes things a little stiffer. But just got to do some gusseting, do some more tube work, bring those down. I'm probably also going to do some tubes that go from here up to the strut tower just to brace those more. But all in all, it wasn't too bad. The drive shaft is in, but I do have to still make the points for the carrier bearings. I haven't done that. But the awesome thing is that I haven't had to cut any of the tunnel to clearance for the drive shaft. Where the stock exhaust basically went through the tunnel is clearanced enough, especially since this is an IRS. The drive shaft does not move up and down with the suspension of the car. Is just part of the rear end. So that stays stationary. So I don't have to have a big tunnel for the drive shaft to go up and down with. Now I do plan on putting as much of the interior back together on this car as possible. Unfortunately, the carpet in this car was demolished. It was completely trashed. It was literally falling apart in my hands as I was pulling it out. So I will eventually put a carpet back in. Most of these drag and drive events for their street car type of deal, you are required to have door panels and carpet at least to the back part of the car. You don't have to have it the rest of the back here, just up to basically the where the passenger seats basically would be. Unfortunately, I was really hoping to keep the rear seat in here, but just due to how small these Festivas are, the down bars aren't going to clear over the seats. So there's one thing I've been working on my spare time here and there. I've been doing this basically in the house. This is going to be the control board basically for running the main motor and stuff. I'm going to do a secondary fuse block and relay block for all the rest of the car, like headlights, turn lights, or turn signals, brake lights, and all that. But this is going to be the main one for the car. This is a 200 amp relay, and it's a big relay that's going to basically power the main fuse block and the relays in the back here. I haven't finished tidying up all the wires in the back here yet, but it's work in progress. But pretty much have all the inputs, outputs, triggers. I still have another one of these rails to put in here for all my negatives. Negatives for any of the sensors, inputs, outputs, anything that has to be grounded basically through sensors or just the main computer itself. I do plan on putting fuel tech in this, since this is going to be a bit more serious of a car. But I do plan on getting a fuel tech for this also. I really have enjoyed the fuel tech and all of its features. There's a lot to it, but once you start kind of getting into how the computer works and how the tuning works and everything, it's actually a pretty nice computer system and the tuning software that it comes with. But pretty much just working on a little here, a little there. Just like I said, with work being so crazy, it's kind of a pain sometimes to get out here after work. It's getting a little warm here in Florida, but not too bad. But just a little at a time. That's all I'm trying to do. A lot of this I got completed just over this last weekend. I do plan on getting some more done during this week, like the down bars here and everything. But until then, I will try to keep up on my videos more, posting more and everything. I know it's a lot easier to see a lot of the stuff through a video than just a few photos. The videos will probably be a little bit more informative for you guys to see where I am with the project.